Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Flunky, and today we're going to do something I like to call News Day. It's taking articles or news from mainstream media that pertains to anything gaming related, and I try to bring it to you, and hoping that it will give you an insight of something maybe you missed or gives you better clarity on a situation that you probably didn't understand. I normally was going to wait for this whole thing when I got a video recorder so you guys could see my face and I could treat it as like a news thing where we have a little desk set up, things like that. But I got an article I'm looking at from GameInformer, and I think it's something I just can't wait, and I have to bring it up because it's very interesting. It says Destiny Rise of Iron targets September release, and underneath the title it says Bungie goes new gen only in latest expansion. In the article written by Matt Miller, it says one of the surprising things to emerge from the announcement of this expansion is that Bungie ceases, let me quote for quote, to develop. Oh no, Bungie is going to develop Destiny exclusive for only PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. They're done. They're done with the older gen consoles. Now, from a marketing standpoint, it's probably a really bad idea because they're going to get a lot of flack for this. But from a money standpoint, it makes sense. Reason being is because this topic actually came up a while back, I think, with GTA 5 coming out. And I think Rockstar was approached for this, and I might be wrong, but they were asked, how are you going to accommodate down the road with old-gen consoles? And they said, eventually we're going to stop, and it might be pretty soon because it costs money to accommodate two consoles. It costs money to keep two. And I know it sounds crazy because you got PC games, but basically it was saying, like, why should we accommodate for an older gen, put all that time and effort into it when it might not be that great or might cost so much more because it's tougher to accommodate an older gen system. It's a whole bunch of malarkey you have to go through and sift through yourself. But basically, people were saying, or companies were saying, it just isn't feasibly smart. Now, how does that translate into this article with Bungie deciding to only keep it within PlayStation 4 and Xbox One with the release of Rise of Iron? Well, that's so, and literally it says they could be constrained or not held back by the older gens. And it goes further on to say, it literally says, but it also means that previous gen players need to upgrade if they want to continue to experience new content for the sci-fi fantasy shooter. Boy, are people going to be pissed by that statement. And they are, and rightfully so. Like, I get Bungie's point behind it. I get why Bungie's doing it. I'm not saying I agree with it entirely, but I get it completely. But at the same time, Bungie, if you're hearing this, you need to understand, you're going to get a lot of shit for this. Because you got people who, and this is why it doesn't make sense to me, because you kind of like have to have the foresight down the road if you're running a company to see this is going to happen. And a lot of and I say it's the gamers, look, much as I think it's messed up, it's something that was bound to happen. But my point is, why make it for older gen systems if you're going to wind up cutting older gen players out? You're pretty much putting up the biggest item wall you have ever put up since the release of Destiny, when you didn't give us a full game to start with, and we had to buy expansions to complete the rest of the game. Now, I'm not trying to dog on Bungie and Activision for creating this game, but we can't deny the fact that it is kind of messed up, and why would they even go about this route? I'm lost while I'm playing this game and talk to you guys. But why would they even go about this route? Because it's fiscally smart. From a company standpoint, it makes sense. But it just isn't fair. And I'm going to admit it straight out. It is. Because now they're saying to old gen console players, sorry guys, the guys who got the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are going to play all this cool content, and all the hours and times you put into your older gen systems are kind of blown out the water. Now, even though I don't think it makes it much better, it'd be really cool, and I think you can, and don't hold me to this, guys, but it'd be cool if you could transfer your save files that are on the Xbox 360 and PS4, because it is a server. It's an MMO pretty much, so they have server saves. And then you can upload it onto the newer gen consoles. It doesn't make it better. It kind of sucks for people because why would you buy a new gen console for one game? But at least hopefully that alleviate some pressure off of the customer or the player that wants to upgrade. But it says here that it kind of like they've been hinting at it for a while now, because they basically said, and again, what you're seeing on the next gen is Bungie's full vision for the game unencumbered. Meaning not held back or weighed down. Literally unencumbered. If you ever play like Fallout or Elder Scrolls, encumbered, it literally means held back or weighed down. And I honestly, they don't even know, because they're very hush hush about their sales for Destiny. But I'm interested to see how this affects the community, because now you created some of the biggest rifts in the last 5 years between console players. Yeah, and I'm not saying, yeah, older gen, new gen can't play together. Yeah, I get that, and that's totally understandable. I get why they don't. I understand it's just a whole server issue, I guess. But now you pretty much separated people. You're pretty much forcing people to buy a new console. And nobody in their right mind would feel comfortable with that. So my big hiccup to this is, and this is me drawing my own inferences, is that and I said it before, as a company, if you're running a company and you have to have the foresight down the road to see that this could end up being an issue, why the flying hell, and I'm trying not to cuss a lot, why the heck would you make this game and pump out all these expansions and pretty much tell people to buy, not tell or force, but to get people into this game to buy it for this older gen and then turn around and cut them off? I get the logic behind it. Morally, I think it's a messed up thing. And I feel for these kids. I feel for these people that bought this game. I mean, I hope, and honestly, I don't know how, because I haven't played Destiny in a long time. So I'm just curious at how they're going to handle the situation with the service and stuff. But if a lot of you listen to this, but if you're listening to this and you're wondering how you should approach this, just understand it's a company. They do have bills to pay, and they do have to make a living. All right, and it sucks that this is happening, and it's horrible. It is a horrible situation for a lot of gamers who really loved and enjoyed this game. Destiny's, and to Bungie again, you guys brought out Destiny, put a massive item wall between the players, forcing them to be cut off from content in the game until they bought further in. I mean, that was like a lot of big pet peeves with people about Destiny. Is why should they pay more into the game? Now, my argument with them, and I've always played devil's advocate on this situation, is it does cost a lot of money to make a game. It does cost a lot of money to keep the game running, especially if it has active servers and updates. So I'm not taking from that aspect of it. So I know I keep reiterating this and driving it to the ground. What I am saying is, why in the hell would you make this game if it cut players off? I get it's a business. I get you guys are trying to make money. But you already created one set of item walls. Now you're creating the biggest set of item walls ever, in my opinion, in a long time. Let me put it that way. I just don't see I don't see how it's right, because they should have seen this from the get-go. But other than that, from what the article is saying is, if it alleviates some of you, it says, in addition to a full campaign story mission, players can also look forward to an unannounced competitive mode, new Crucible maps, and as yet unseen third-person cooperative strike, and an elevated light value to try and achieve as they level up their characters. While details on the most new arsenal of the weapons remain under wraps, Destiny's most popular and infamous rocket launcher from year one is returning. The Iron Gallahorn is colored in black and silver and is currently designated as a pre-order bonus. Oh, God. No, I gotta say that below me. Pre-order bonus? Oh, my God. Okay, I'm just gonna say this flat out. This is how I pre-ordered Destiny so far back that GameStop lost my copy twice. That's how far back I pre-ordered Destiny. And then I switched over to Xbox One, and then I switched over to PS4 and got it for PS4. Now, this is how I'm gonna say this. I love Destiny. Now, I know a lot of you guys think I'm ragging on it. I do. I love Destiny. I have the time of my life with my friends. I love the strikes. I love the raids. I mean, it was fun. I had a great time, and I don't want to ever anyone to think that I'm doubting this game or bagging on it. That said, I draw a serious problem with how this is being handled. I think the Gallahorn thing should be a freebie. I think it should just be given. Players have paid Bungie and Activision at the wazoo for this game. And don't even talk about, and like I said, I haven't played in a while, but I think there was a time where you could buy emotes with money. You buy like little in-game cash with your real money. That was like the biggest load of horse shit. People were like, well, they got to make money. I'm like, yeah, but come the hell on, man. In-game money, you got to pay for more crap? I mean, this was my thing when this is like what I hate about pay-to-plays or pay-to-wins, which this game isn't. There was a rumor going around, an article saying they eventually want to do that to help scale you, to help players that are, lower level scale up higher, which is cool. Which basically is like, if you ever play WoW, I got heirloom gear to help you out, to increase your level to get you to max. From what I heard, that was kind of like that. That being said, I said from the get-go, given this situation too, this kind of brings up another topic of mine. I said they should have made this game subscription. Now, a lot of you guys are going to give me shit for this, but I thought we got boned on the expansion deal. I really thought we did, because I think you get the pre-order some of the weapons, you don't get them. You have to save up your money and buy them in game. I thought they were just a gimme, you know, for pre-ordering the game. And then you got the season pass, and I thought that was another gimme they were supposed to give you. And no, that didn't come with it either. So I honestly, in my head, I do not understand what the hell is going on with this company, as far as the way they're handling their money situation. Like, again, I say, hey, I understand it. But at the same time, I don't get why they couldn't have said this from the get-go. Hey, guys, if you buy the console, I'm just letting you know that, yeah, it's going to be released on the older gen. Or not be released on the older gen no more, or be updated for the older gen. It's going to be pretty much exclusively to newer gen. And that's why I said, and I bring up the subscription thing, because it kind of goes back to how they're handling this everything, was they should have just made the game subscription-based, instead of adding the little item mall thing, which right now I think from what everybody's telling me is really nothing right now. You're just buying little emotes and things like that. But I still think that's bullshit. I really do. Because it'd be one thing it was a full game it released, but it wasn't. You still had to pay out the wazoo through expansions. It's in the crap expansion. The only expansion, I'm sorry to say this, even though I love this game, was Taken King was badass. When Taken King come out, there was a joke going on between players saying, now the beta's over for Destiny, now we got the full game. At first I hated it, but it makes sense. So, honestly, to players that are playing this game and they're on the older gen, I'm sorry. It is horseshit. It's not fair. I wish they did go subscription based. That way you play it monthly. You can get all your stuff for free, expansions, all the little doohickey things they're supposed to give you. And now with Destiny 2 coming out, I stopped playing Destiny for a reason because of this. Because a guy I really respect came to me, or told me one day, and I asked him, I said, man, why don't you play this game? He says, I can't play something that people are being forced to do. And I said, well, you can't force somebody to buy a game. He's like, yeah, but you're going to force them into buying expansions and things of that nature, locking them out of the story. And the original Destiny, Vanilla Destiny, is crap. Like, I'm going to straight up say this, and I have the right to say this, because at the current, I think I was almost max light. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's just shit. It is. And a lot of what was wrong with it was because players were locked out of new content. Because of that, because of how Bungie and Activision handled the whole situation. And again, reiterating a broken point, going back to how they're handling the old console thing. And it's irritating and I'm frustrated as I'm talking about this, because I defended Destiny from the get-go of how they handled everything. But they've had a couple bad patches. They had loot caves that were dumb because people were it wasn't people's fault. They just never fixed the loot cave. And it's just little bullshit like that. And now here you go, locking old gen players out from new content. And I honestly got in my heart of hearts, I think they could have just gone about that differently now. And it just ain't right. Because, like, for instance, even though people play GTA 5 on older gen, it's still on newer consoles being updated just for older gen. Maybe not quickly, not as fast, and maybe some things are locked out, but it's still being taken care of. If they're completely cutting off, I mean, I don't know, the article doesn't delve too much in it, but if they're completely cutting off old gen players, that is bullshit. Now, if they update the servers, keep them updated as far as that goes, then that's cool. I mean, granted, it's messed up that you guys won't get Rise of Iron, but at least you guys get something. But if they're completely cutting you guys off, which I hope I find out more about this. If I do, I'll be uploading weekly or daily, giving you guys up to date on how this is being handled. But for right now, it just looks like it's a bunch of bullshit. And I think as far as the player base, I don't think you guys got a fair cut. I do hope they keep updating. I hope Bungie, if you see this video, I hope you guys take a lot into consideration how your players feel. You guys are making, Bungie and Activision, you guys are making tons of money from your IPs, IPOs, whatever you want to call it, from your games. You know, Halo series, the Call of Duty series. You guys are just killing it, man. And here you got Destiny, and from what I'm seeing in the article, supposedly you guys have 30 million people that have registered or played or whatever. So, and I know you guys got to make your money. I get that. But I just think it's kind of dirty how you're handling the situation. And I think a lot of players will agree that you could have gone about this completely differently. And that's about it. That's my opinion. I know it's kind of scrambled. It's my first time doing this news thing. But to sum it all up, from a marketing standpoint, it's a horrible idea because I don't think a lot of players are going to love them too much for this. But from a business standpoint, I understand why. I understand a lot of gaming companies are getting behind this idea now because older gen's getting older and it's harder to play. PlayStation doesn't even have backwards compatibility. It has what's it called, like rent to own. It's like a PS thing where you can rent a game like it's crap. like it's like a movie. Then you have another like digital downloads for some games that they're making compatible for the system, but they're not really going full backwards compatibility. So yeah, so like you see, a lot of companies don't like this idea because it just costs too much money. I get that. As far as Destiny is concerned, I think it's BS because of the amount of money and time. I know old gen players busted their humps and busted their ass just as much as new gen players. So I just think it's messed up. And I do at one point have a new gen console, and I will probably be buying Rise of Iron for my nephews. But I just don't think it's fair. I just hope to God they at least keep the servers updated so players can at least keep playing with their friends until whenever they stop keeping the servers up for 360. I mean, I get it. Eventually, as 360 is going to have to die, you're really going to have to forced to buy a new console. But that's not the issue here. The issue here is they're trying to make money, and they're trying to... And that just saying that pisses me off, because they've already made so much money off this damn game. I'm flabbergasted. I never thought a gaming company could leave me so frustrated. A gaming company that I put so much money and time into. A gaming company that have made so much money over the years, and accolades and respect from the community. I personally don't understand it. And if they really do bone old gen console players, then they've lost a lot of respect for me. Just because I don't think it's fair and right, and just to sit there and say, well, they're going to have to buy new gen consoles if they're going to want to play new content. That's a cop out, and it's a poor excuse. And this is my last thing, and I'll reiterate this again. When you're running a company, you got to have foresight to understand what's going to happen in the future, from sales to marketing to your reps coming to you telling you how things are being handled, how players are doing in each of the consoles, because we don't even know who's playing what on what console. They won't release their sales. It says it right here. It says Activision has held off from reporting unit sales for Destiny, so we don't know about the current split between players on old versus new consoles. So it's horseshit right there. Well, guys, that's all the time I have for the day. I hope my little heated rant doesn't get you all fired up and ruin your day. I love you guys. It's Game Flunky, and I hope to make this a continuous thing. Peace, and have a great day. And like and subscribe if you want to hear more of this. Bye, guys.